Kevin, thanks for coming on the Sarah's podcast. Just tell us a little bit about the situation at Shire Foods and, since the pandemic was announced.
Yeah, it's been a very strange few weeks. It seems like a bit of a bad dream at the moment. But Shire Foods has moved from being a really food service reliant manufacturer to more of a retail manufacturer now. So we supply a lot of the key high street discount stores with our own brand of premium and standard range savoury pastry products. And with everybody panic buying at the moment, and in particularly with frozen, we're seeing quite a large upturn in sales and demand for those products.
Do you think it's pretty sustainable? Do you think you can keep up at this pace for a while, or probably not?
I think people have only got so much storage space. The freezers are only so big. The fridges are only so big. Our product can't be put in a cupboard or out in the garage. So they've only got so much space. So I think people are filling now, and then it's going to go back down to a normal sort of level of purchasing over the next few weeks.
And just see any issues with deliveries, for example, like getting your product into those stores?
Not at the moment. I mean, most of the ingredients we use are British, and we use a lot of British chicken, British beef. So there's no borders to cross with that. We've got a couple of issues with some products that are going to come across Europe, where some of the delivery drivers are just unsure whether they should make it over to the UK because they might not make it back to their families and things. So that's a bit further down the line. But at the moment, we're getting all the raw materials that we need to continue the factory working. So
that's with ingredients coming to you. How about pies getting to the supermarkets? That's okay at the moment?
Yeah, again, it's all in the UK. So our road networks, it's taken a little bit longer to get into depots because, again, the supermarket depots have only got so much space and they're trying to pile so much stock through them at the moment. They can only tip so many lorries a day. So sometimes they book a delivery in for day one. It might not actually achieve that booking until day two, things like that. But it's not a huge issue at the moment.
So at the moment, you're selling a lot more pies. How long do you sort of see that going for? You say a couple of weeks and then everything goes back to normal. What sort of pressures does that put on the company?
The pressure's just, we've got great relationships with our customers. We've been supplying a number of these for many years now. So we know how many pies they're going to sell every week. We've always got a backup of stock anyway. So they're just eating into that and we're replenishing. I just can't see this level of purchasing. I saw some retailers say it's like Christmas sort of level sales, but it's every single day at the moment. And it will slow down at some point.
And then, and I don't know how this issue works, but say at Christmas time, you sell quite a lot in. Is there usually a lull afterwards where everyone's just consuming that product, where they're not purchasing? Would you think that model applies here as well, do you think?
I think it's a different type of product people buy at Christmas. They're buying those one-off special desserts or special like centerpiece products. Whereas with ours, because it's pies, sausage rolls, vegan products, the products that are sort of bought all the time and they're eaten as a regular part of a regular meal. So it's not like a special occasion. It's something that people habitually buy. They know that every week when they go shopping, they're going to buy a 4-pack of the Aldi vegan sausage rolls and 4-pack of the steak pies, and that will do them for 2 meals throughout the week.
Yeah.
So I think they're just banking maybe a week's worth of stock. So next time they're not going to buy 2 lots of it. They're just going to go back to just buying one if they can, if the stores are still open.
Yeah. So what sort of supermarkets do you guys supply at the moment? Like, give us an idea of who you're supplying. So
it's mainly the discounters. So we supply a lot into Aldi, Lidl, Iceland, Heron Foods, which is predominantly in the northeast and northwest of the country, but they got bought by B&M Bargains a few years ago. So B&M have got about 150 stores now that have freezers in as well. So we supply them, and we also supply products into Asda and Morrison's.
Oh, there goes your dog. So do you think? Like that those freezers, if they were full up, if they're empty, like, so you need a few more days to get stock back in there, and then you just hope that everything goes back to normal. But if it doesn't, if this sort of pandemic carries on for a bit longer, how long do you think you guys can consistently carry on at this level for?
We're a 24/5 operation now, so we work 24 hours a day, Sunday night till Monday night. So there is more capacity if we can get the staff. At the moment, we've had no issues with sort of staff numbers dropping off. The schools are now closing, so we've identified staff members who have got children at school age. But again, at the moment, we don't foresee any issues with childcare and things to sort of reduce those numbers.
At the very least, you guys are what, BRC BRC accredited now?
Yeah, BRC Grade A, an announced audit that we get.
Yeah.
And obviously when you're dealing with these sort of types of customers, they have their own audits as well. So again,
what extra measures would you have to take for something like this, the pandemic?
Really, the staff welfare is the big thing for us. So at Shire, we've identified there's a couple of members of staff who are over 70 years old. So with the guidance that's been put out by the government, they're now going to be home for the foreseeable future, just because we've got to look after them. We don't have any temporary agency staff at all, so all our staff are our own. So again, to protect them, we're putting extra cleaning and sanitising in place in between each shift, just to make sure that each shift of people are coming into a sanitised area. The key management team are working in different areas. Some are working from home, again, just to make sure that the business is still ticking over. And if one of us catches the infection, it's not going to blight all of us.
No. And you're working from home at the moment, aren't you?
I'm now working from home.
Yeah. So what would you...
I'm still putting the suit on every day, though, because it doesn't feel right not to.
Yeah, fair point.
Suit and slippers.
Suit and slippers. Are you sure you're not just wearing like a suit top and a pajama bottom?
Yeah.
So what would you say, what would you like to see from the government in terms of, the scenario? How would you like to sort of see it unfold?
I think the biggest thing is the food service market. It's going to be absolutely decimated. I know a lot of fish and chip shop owners, and a lot of them have adapted over the last few years with deliveries and things like that. So that is going to help. But restaurants, a lot of the high street restaurants are going to really struggle, and some are definitely going to fall over. A lot of the high street will fall over. We've seen Next put out some warnings today that people aren't going to buy new outfits if they're sitting on the couch for the next 12 weeks. Which is what Boris has just said. He wants it tackled and finished within the next 12 weeks.
People might need new sofas, though.
They may do, yeah. And so Netflix can do very well out of it. But again, Sky Sports, BT Sports, people are cancelling their subscriptions to those because there's going to be no live sport for the next 12 weeks. But yeah, so the government help-wise, they need to look at the food service sector, especially the independents, because we want them to be around in 3 or 4 months when this is all gone by. And they're going to need some support. They're going to struggle to pay their staff. Obviously, staff will be able to get SSP, but SSP isn't a lot really for that length of period of time.
Yeah, and obviously today you've been speaking to a lot of sort of retailers that you supply and people within the company. What are they all sort of saying about the situation?
I mean, to them, they're just happy that we can keep up with the demand of product at the moment. It's sort of unprecedented for them to have this sort of level of sales for this long. And that because we look after Aldi, Lidl, Iceland, they're not part of the big four sort of national multiples. So they are getting new customers through the door. So in the long run, there's opportunities for them, for these new customers come in the door, try some of their own brand products, like them, and then come back afterwards.
Yeah. And can you see any positives out of this situation?
Not really. It's all a bit weird.
Yeah.
So my son, he's in his GCSE year, so we've had the news today. That's it. All GCSE exams are cancelled. Tomorrow's his last day ever at school. The school has sent a letter in just saying what there's not a lot they can do, but what fabulous year 2020 this is going to be. And the government have got to again provide support for these kids who are going to come away without real qualifications for the rest of their lives.
Yeah, it must be weird for a kid of that age who probably hates school for the most part. And now it's like, oh, guess what? You get to finish school. And he's like, what do I do?
He's got 6 months off now. And he can't really do anything. He's not 16 until July, so he can't go out and get himself a little part-time job.
I know a pie company in Warwick, and they've just put 2 70-year-olds on rest. No, I get that. So, yeah, it's unprecedented waters, really. We don't really know what's going on, do we?
No, it's the biggest thing since the Second World War. So unless you're over that sort of age, it's the biggest thing in your lifetime, and it's going to change us all forever.
I think one of the things that I was saying to someone earlier is how fast it came in. It literally was it wasn't a slow burner. This is like a few weeks in, and it's turned everything on its head in a few.
Yeah, well, it started from a single point, isn't it? I mean, there's lots of conspiracy theories out there, but the main one that people are speaking about is a meat market in China where they've got sort of live animals and meat together, and that's where it sort of festered from. It's hard to imagine that one little scenario, because why has it not come about before? Because I'd imagine in a lot of those markets aren't very sanitary. And
yeah, well, I think SARS and MERS both came from animals, and then obviously you got avian bird flu, and so I think generally it's where it crosses over. One of the things I was really interested in recently is that how many diseases cross over from humans to animals, and apparently that's pretty catastrophic as well.
Yeah.
So they do make the hot, but apparently this one I was told, and I don't know if it's jokes or racism or what, but I was told that someone ate a bat that had rabies, or a type of rabies, and
I think you're being racist again.
No. So yeah, again, but no, the situation does throw lots of racial slurs around, doesn't it? And obviously, so
yeah, I saw Donald Trump getting lambasted yesterday for calling it the Chinese virus, and somebody else spoke and said, "Well, what about the Spanish flu? Why don't people say? Why is that not racist then when people talk about it?"
I think it's the way Donald Trump says it. Well, look, Kevin, thanks for the little update on the pie situation, and because we do want to talk to more people about food manufacturing, and obviously this was the perfect time to talk about supplies and so on.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
No, thank you, Kev.
And if people are looking to reduce their meat intake, please try the vegan products at Aldi in Iceland.
I knew you'd throw that in there. I knew it. Yeah, not my thing, but yeah, thanks, mate.
You should try it. Yeah, okay.